Wetware Media presents Surrender at Appomattox, first-hand accounts of Robert E. Lee's surrender to Ulysses S. Grant. Narrated by Andrew Mulcare, with accounts by Major General Wesley Merritt, USA, Major General John Gibbon, USA, Colonel Charles Marshall, aide-de-camp and military secretary to Robert E. Lee, Brigadier General E.P. Alexander, CSA, Lieutenant General James Longstreet, CSA, General Philip Sheridan, USA, and Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant, USA. This recording is copyright 2011 by Wetware Media.
Chapter 1. Note on the Surrender of Lee by Major General Wesley Merritt, USA, Major General, United States Volunteers. Major General Wesley Merritt, 1836 to 1910, was a general in the United States Army during the American Civil War and the Spanish-American War. He is noted for his distinguished service in the cavalry. Merritt participated in many pivotal Civil War battles and commanded the 1st Division, Cavalry Corps of the Army of the Shenandoah, during Major General Philip Sheridan's Valley campaigns of 1864. After receiving a brevet promotion to Major General, he was second in command to Sheridan during the Appomattox campaign, and was one of several commissioners for Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox Court-House. In the morning's attack on the 9th of April, the cavalry, reduced in numbers, had no chance against Gordon's well-formed infantry. Crook and I had agreed to fight as long as was possible in the hope that Gibbon's infantry, Ord's command, would make its appearance. This it did in the very nick of time. As soon as Gordon saw it deploy in his front, he hesitated and halted and finally withdrew to a reasonable distance. Then came the truce, and it was agreed that there should be no more fighting until, I think, 2 o'clock. The officers met and talked over old times. I saw many Confederates whom I had known at West Point. When we parted about 2 o'clock, they all expressed regret that the incident could not be closed at once, and were sad, they said, that the fighting must continue. We knew that they had no chance, and thought that they knew it too. About the time of the expiration of the truce, General Grant came on the field near the part of the lines commanded by me, and asked the whereabouts of General Sheridan. I rode with him to where General Sheridan was in the town of Appomattox, and after some conversation between them, Grant, Sheridan, and their staffs, and a number of officers, rode to the front of our lines on what might have been called the neutral zone separating the two armies. After General Grant had proceeded 100 yards or so in the direction of the Confederate lines, General Lee, accompanied by 2 or 3 officers, rode out of his lines and met General Grant and his party. Just before the meeting, the officers accompanying General Grant reined up their horses, halting 15 or 20 yards before the generals met. They approached each other until within a few feet, or perhaps side by side, facing in opposite directions, and after a few words drew off to the left as we faced, dismounted, and talked. Soon they mounted again, and turning their horses' heads toward the Union lines, rode, followed by the Union officers who had accompanied General Grant, into the single road-like street of Appomattox, halted in front of the McLean house, and dismounting, entered. They were in the house together less than 1 hour, I should think. I was not in the room, but once, on the suggestion of Colonel Babcock, of Grant's staff, I went to the doorway and looked in, and saw the generals and their aides seated, the latter writing busily, the others engaged in conversation. When General Lee came out of the house, he was attended by his one staff officer. As he stepped into the front yard, a number of Union officers saluted him by raising the hat. He returned the salute in like manner, and then, looking in the direction of the Confederate army, smote the palms of his hands together 3 times, his arms extended to their full length. General Lee then mounted his horse, a gray gelding, and rode down the incline toward his army, and I saw him no more. If I heard any conversation between Generals Grant and Lee, it has escaped my recollection. But from the circumstances attending the surrender, I am convinced but few, if anyone save a single aide of each, heard the conversations. It was through...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?